So, and the question really is how to harmonize the entire company. So, the strategy we used was incremental to holistic harmonization. Management basically takes a look at the whole protein production system and catalog the current state. This is very important to get your initial state bearing if you don't already have it. Then the first goal was to create harmonization within divisions, so smaller efforts to in the right direction, which remove waste from the divisional levels. Now, this prepared the divisions for the final harmonization, cross-division harmonization, which remove waste from the entire system. Waste removal that can only be utilized and actualized by looking at the entire system, not in smaller divisional jumps. This was an intentional stepwise approach that took a dedicated team of cross-divisional members to brainstorm and map. I was in a number of meetings, I can't tell you, for hours and hours on end, just going through one little item at a time. You don't know how for the entire horizontal agreement for a construct, this takes time, but we did it, and it paid off down the road. And it took, again, like a dedicated team to do this, and with management support from the top down and from the bottom up. So the protein purification global workflow, general character. From as early as discovery, a team is put into place that have representatives from every downstream divisional group. So if you look at anything from start to finish horizontally, we have a representative of every single subgroup within the horizontal workflow at that table, right at the beginning. And they are allowed to be at that table throughout the entire process. Obviously, their importance shifts as we move away or into their critical area of expertise. But they are there at the beginning to build in all the knowledge and all of the inputs that are needed for the team to have a construct or a protein or a cell line that will fit the entire horizontal process from beginning to end, if it's possible. The guidelines for the holistic harmonization are documented, and the group is made aware of them by the team lead. So again, the team is actually the center of all of this. They are the ones that are going to actualize this workflow within any team or any protein production process that's going to take place now or in the future. So they need to be educated, they need to be empowered, they need to be given the documentation that the think tank developed, and that will be in place, and it will be something they go through as part of their process whenever a new team is brought into play. The team leads, so those in charge, will be part of the protein therapeutic development all the way to the end of the preclinical activities. So these leads are important because they lead the team. Even though the entire team is educated, the team leads are the leaders of these teams, and they know all the major decisions and all the value drivers and also waste remover activities they've put into place and are important. And they will drive that all the way to development. And in development, things will shift, but they will still be part of the team as they go along. It's just there'll be a new team leads, but they'll still be on the team that moves forward. So that education and knowledge base is not lost. In this way, the process and protein quality attributes needed are accounted for as early on as possible. So this is the pull system, not so much that something that's on the far end is pulling something earlier, or the front end, the beginning pulls everything from the back end into play early. And then those guys and gals are brought in and make decisions and build that knowledge in up front, and make sure it plays out correctly as it goes forward towards the market. As problems arise from the protein production, they are flagged right away. The troubleshooting begins. So this is all done in real time, and the goal is obviously to reduce timelines and to assure product protein quality. This enables good decision making, problem solving efficiency, and good go or no go decisions at all stages of the program. So just to give a graphic for the final standards and metrics, it's still open-ended because this is improving as we move along. Again, we want to believe in Kaizen here, and that just because we've trimmed our process, optimized our process, it's nowhere near done. It's really exciting to see what has been done in a short period of time and what can continue to be realized as efficiencies. But in the end, the final state, we have 10 decision points along the way. And we saw with the original state, we had about 20 to 22. When you did the medium scale harmonization, we went down to 20. And then we saw a lot of change when we went to the full scale harmonization, when the number of decisions dropped about in half to 10. And the duty cycle means the entire timeline it takes is about 7 years at the end. So we go from about 14 and a half years down to 13 and a half, and then finally down to 7 or so. And just to show you the significance and what happens when you bring the entire system into view and you harness the power of the entire system optimization for the individual steps, actually. So you get this overall benefit. It's consistent with Lean in many regards, and in the end, it's an open system that it's still actively improving. So in conclusion, a focus on globalizing the harmonization process for protein therapeutic production at a large pharmaceutical company results in significant reduction in decision complexity and timeline for deliverables. The majority of the value gained through this process is from the removal of waste. This waste is best characterized as redundant activities that occur throughout the process. We remove those redundancies. There was value addition outside of waste removal in the form of more informative decision points with relevant expertise present earlier on. And this does translate to a better product down the road. So future efforts, expansion of harmonization. Now that the process has been developed for protein therapeutics, it can be broadened out. This particular effort focused on a particular kind of protein therapeutic. Since there are many forms of proteins, we can create this globalization harmonization for other protein types. In addition, there are other products pharmaceutical companies make. We use small molecules. There's gene therapy. These are two different what we call modalities. So protein therapeutic is a modality. Small molecules is another modality. Gene therapy is another modality that are different from proteins, and separate harmonizations will be put into place for those. So you can see that we focused on one particular thing, get that harmonization down well, get that documented, get teams rolling with that. Then go to the next, what's right next to different types of proteins. And then let's go on to different modalities. And hopefully these types of metric improvements, meaning reduced duty cycle time and reduced number of decisions that are needed, so reduced complexity, can be realized through the entire pharmaceutical company as a whole.